I'm James Lascara. We're glad you're here with us on the Elite Investor channel. Welcome to our series, Developing on Davis Island. In this series, we're going to take you on a journey to show you what's required to be successful at developing luxury real estate in one of Tampa Bay's most sought-after submarkets, to include behind the scenes, the lessons learned, and pulling the curtain back to show you what others simply won't. Follow along to watch this project come to life. Let's go. Welcome to Developing on Davis Island's Part 3. In this episode, we're going to take you through key design features and take you through a review of each level, starting from the ground through the second level through the third level, and talk about why we did certain design features in certain areas given the exterior building footprint that we're able to accommodate on the site. I'm joined today by our colleague realtor Marissa at South Cedar, and on our agent team, who has a keen design eye, is going to share some of her insights and tips on certain aspects of the design for this project and share with us why things are going to work the way they are.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. Okay, cool. So we have these cool Post-it notes, which I think is going to really do a good job of orienting us to what are we talking about here, because this might be hard for people to see. So what we've done is we've expanded our floor plans so that we could talk about really key different aspects of each floor and orient our viewers to be able to really realize what we're referencing. And so in pink here, and this is the first floor. And the thing that we have to remember is that this is in a flood zone. The topography of the site, the elevation of the site is right about 6 feet, a little bit below 6 feet. In fact, 6.15 is going to be the height of our garage slab. That is the height at the finished garage slab is going to be poured. And so the flood elevation, this is in flood zone AE12. So our design flood elevation, our lowest finished floor elevation has to be 13. So what that means is this can't be conditioned space on the plans. That's a really key thing to know. And all of Davis Islands is in a flood zone. So, if you have a garage, which you should for a luxury home, it's going to be in the floodplain. Mm-hmm. So in pink here, we have the parking area of the garage. This is a pass-through garage, so the entire first floor is unfinished space, and this is going to be a garage where you can fit really up to about 7 cars. You can fit 2 here, 2 here, 1 here, and then 2 here in tandem. So in other videos, the Grand Oak is about right here where this marker is. In other videos, I've talked about how we have to offset the massing of our building to avoid the protective root zone of the tree. We are within the protective root zone a little bit, but we really want to avoid where the roots are, which is about along this line right here. This is the front walkway. So because the walkway will be within the PRZ of the tree, which extends to about here, we have to do pavers for both the driveway and the walkway. It's just the easiest way, and I think it's a good finish feature for a house like this.
For sure.
So we did, in episode 2, we covered our root prune, and we were clear of all roots southward of this line. So we're good to build all this. If we hadn't done that root prune and that didn't come back clear, we would have had to effectively move the building footprint south, which we are fortunate that we don't have to do. So the reason that you see it's kind of stepped, if you will, like as we move from west to east, is because the tree is more towards the west of the site up here. So let's orient ourselves as if we are coming into the home. So you can park in the driveway, or you can park in the garage. One thing with the garage, I want to mention this. Most standard 2-car garage doors are 16 feet wide and 7 feet tall. You drive around new construction in Tampa, that's a very common size. We did oversized garage doors, so we went 18 feet wide, because to effectively get like a modern size, larger vehicle like an SUV or a truck, and you want to park them side by side effectively, you need a wider garage door, so you're not kind of navigating as you go out of the garage and potentially clipping the side of the block. So we went for a larger size garage door, and then we went 8 feet tall. You think about driving in a parking garage, kind of the same principle. You don't want to clip the top. They have the little warning, make sure you don't. So if someone eventually buys this who has a lifted G-Wagon, that it's not going to be good to have 7 feet. If you do that and you have a roof rack, it's going to clip. So 8 feet is plenty to accommodate a lifted vehicle, oversized vehicle, what have you.
And toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Any type of toys really would fit too.
Yep, for sure. So some even like pulling in a trailer with a boat or whatever, something like that. Yeah. So we also did that. We have a roll-up door towards the back as well. So let's say we want to get some equipment to access the pool, or I don't know, people can pull up their golf carts and just pass through the garage and pull into the back, whatever. We got some heavy equipment that we want to maybe pull through. We have a roll-up door in the back, and that is 9 feet wide, which is a little bit wider than normal, and 8 feet tall here as well. It wouldn't make sense to make an 8 foot tall door there and then less here. So we want to make sure that matched. So oversized garage door. And then the other thing I want to mention, and I talked about this in previous videos, is that we are designing this window package with the dimensions at the height of the windows, as well as the width of the windows to match this size garage door. So in the future, if anything ever happens to this tree, it gets blown over in a hurricane, or it becomes unhealthy and we have to take it out for any reason, there's optionality to make this a roll-up garage door so that you could park a car here.
That's smart.
There's some additional things you would need to do with a wraparound driveway, and that would be a permitting thing with the city. But we knew that there were going to be windows here, so it's just not a sheer wall. That would look really weird on the design. And so might as well make them dimensioned to accommodate that in the future. I feel like being in the development space for a little bit of time, there are things you can do when you initially put the plans together for a house to consider future accessibility.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
one of those things.
You want to see it? Just to give you an idea.
Yeah, so here we
So
have our
that's what it
oversized
looks like.
2-car, and yeah, over there is exactly.
Very cool.
This might be a better view of what we're talking about.
What is this garage door going to look like when because the pool is at this level?
As if we're facing it from the south.
Yeah.
Let's pull up that facade right there. So if you're in the backyard looking north, this is the exterior south facade.
Okay.
So it'll look like this. Orient yourself here. This will be a sliding glass door, and then this will just be a pedestrian door.
I think this you can make a cooler door.
Okay, how so?
I would do more of like an industrial vibe, and I would do all glass. Because you have to imagine, at one point, this is going to be painted, not finished, because it can't be finished, but it's going to be a very clean space.
Well, it could be, so we could also do partition later after CO, and like you can make this a game room.
Yeah.
We could have a pinball machine and arcade games and stuff for kids or whatever. But
I think that would look really cool.
so almost
as
like
a glass,
so
like
almost
a garage style, like a mechanic garage, how they have the glass doors. I would do more of that style where you can see through it.
yeah, it's a good suggestion. So
I think it'd be cool.
not changing the plans at all,
Nope.
but the selection
Yeah.
of what finish goes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Almost like one of those restaurants where
Yes.
you sit at the bar and they have the roll up.
Yes, exactly.
And they have I get Armature Works. They have that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The same type of glass door.
Okay.
I think that would be so, because like you can have it open, you can have it closed, and no matter what, it kind of looks like a feature, not just like a aluminum door.
Yeah. So as Marissa talks, I just hear cha-ching because that's gonna be
It's a lot of money.
expensive.
Yeah. Especially because it's extended, it'd probably be custom.
Well, it also needs to either have impact covering or it needs to be impact glass.
Oh
so.
yeah, it's gonna be super expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But that would really.
Ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Because
So
imagine being at the pool, it would kind of be, I don't know, it just looks pretty.
it has a good vibe to it, I would say. But if we actually do that, where it's just like a shed door, it feels a little bit.
Industrial.
Yeah,
Like
it
you're in a storage unit.
It doesn't feel up to the level the house is really at.
Completely.
Okay, good.
So just another 60,000,
No, I don't think it's not gonna be
I don't
that.
know,
That's
I don't
crazy.
know.
No, that's too high.
I don't know.
It won't be that expensive.
maybe 30,
No, it won't be that. I don't.
22.
For the garage door? No.
All glass
For a single
hurricane?
car garage door? No, I don't think it'll. We'll have to get back to you. I don't think it's gonna be that expensive. It'll be more expensive than just a normal roll-up door, but definitely in the
It would
thousands.
look so cool though, because if you did do any type of like gym or whatever, like leaving that door closed or open, it'd
Yeah.
be so nice.
Yeah, you have a lot of optionality. Like I used to do custom woodworking out of my garage. So, if I was gonna be living here, I could customize this to be my own woodworking shop and still retain a minimum two-car parking. So speaking of the 2-car parking, I just want to call out the interior dimensions of where the parking area is now. It's 21 feet wide and nearly 24 foot deep. So I have an F-150, pretty standard sized truck, and it would fit in here no problem. The minimum garage dimensions per code right now in City of Tampa are 18 by 18. If you actually stand inside of an 18 by 18 garage, you would have to have basically like a Honda Accord, 2 Honda Accords, and parking to get your doors open would still be pretty tight.
Yeah,
So,
you're not getting kids out of that car. You're not groceries.
Yeah. And so this is also nice because like you can park off to one side and you can have your, golf cart. So golf carts are really big on DI. Locally on DI, people are driving them around all the time. And so hooking up here or maybe hooking it up here and being able to pass through that would be really solid. So a lot of optionality with the garage. Do you want to talk about the experience as you're kind of like entering, coming up the steps and what you're seeing and how we oriented this?
Yeah, I think when we first talked about the whole concept of the house, my biggest concern was a grander entry.
Yeah.
And I think you guys did that. You were able to kind of open that up a little bit more.
Yeah, it was.
Which I think is super important.
It was really, really tricky to not encroach too close to the tree where the city would just keep simply denying us because we were getting too close. You've got two things with the tree. Again, this is the approximate location of where the tree is in accordance with the first floor level. You've got two things going on. We can't get too close to it on the ground because we start getting into interfering with the roots. Then you can't get too close to it. And this is actually kind of nice because it's a little bit 3D. You've got canopy that comes out and it masses around where the walls are going vertical of the home. And so you can't get too close with the actual front facade because if, you can imagine if we built up a sheer, like all the way to the sky, a sheer wall just like this, like we're gonna have to lop off half the tree and it's gonna end up killing it. So we worked closely with our arborists and then also with the city to make sure the pruning that we were doing was not gonna jeopardize the health of the tree, which is also why you'll see as the structure masses vertically, it steps back as we work southeast, which is this direction. And so we'll see that as we kind of look at, this overhang, and there's the furthest north area is really this, which is also the furthest away from the tree. So as someone comes up, maybe they park in the driveway or park in the garage. Let's actually talk about each. You park in the driveway. It's a paver driveway. You go across the walkway of pavers. We've got this pretty grand entrance consisting of 4 stairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not yet above the flood elevation here. So you walk into a pretty grand front door, and then we're gonna have side lights to provide plenty of natural light on the entryway. So this entire thing is entryway. We've marked the front door in green, we've marked the stairs in yellow, and then we've marked non-conditioned entry area just in purple. And then of course we have the elevator. I want to mention this is something important. The elevator, you want it to have access to all the floors. Like it doesn't make sense in doing it if you're gonna only have partial access. So we'll be sure to mark in orange the area where the elevator is on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor levels. So you walk in, you have the optionality of going up the stairs to the 1st floor living, which is the 2nd level overall of the build. Or if you wanted to go into the garage, there will be an opening here for this portion of the garage, and then there will be a door here to access the rear of the garage. So in the event you wanted to come over to where this parking was, you would walk out back. Because you got to think about elevations. I will admit with development, it's really easy to think of things in 2D, but when you start getting into this 3D world, it's like hard to envision sometimes. So you've got to remember, we already came upstairs. So this is higher than this area, right? And so there'll be stairs coming down from this open area to go in this side of the garage. So there also need to be stairs that you can go down to this side of the garage. So there's stairs and kind of a landing here for the back area of the garage. And then if you want to use service of the elevator, we wanted the elevator, you got to think about your door orientation. This was something this is the first time I'm ever doing an elevator on a build. So what we didn't want is we're like, well, we could put the elevator door right when you walk in, but that's kind of weird, right? You're going into this awesome home, you're opening the door, you're like, oh, I'm coming home to my house. And you have a door right there. It's like, the elevator. I think it's just a little bit unnatural. So this could be...
That would affect the 2nd and 3rd floor too.
Correct.
Like so it may work on this level, but then it's going to look silly in the living room or wherever that's pointing.
Correct. And there are 1, 2, and 3 sided elevators. So we could have done that. But what we realized is like the feel of it would just be weird. And realistically, if you need to use the elevator, just go around. It's easier to decorate this area and make it feel really grand, in my opinion. And by the way, design is probably my weakest aspect of development. And I just want to be really open about that, which is why I try to get a lot of help.
Yeah, you prefer to put like a nice console there with a mirror being, you know.
Yes. Yeah, you could put a little reading area there too if you wanted. So so this would just be a wall, and we can decorate this with some nice selections or finishes after. So the elevator door is facing south, and you would walk in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that makes the most sense because 90% of the time you're going garage right in.
Yeah. Yep. You would just walk around. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the back as well. So this is really, I'm glad this is on the plan. You can see, we talked about it in previous videos, I think both episode 1 and 2. We have a constrained footprint that we had on this site. The site layout, the dimensions of the land is about 60 by 120. And so we've got this limois line, the limit of moderate wave action. So effectively, we can't cross this direction of this dashed line at all. If we do, I've talked about the ramifications of it. We'd have to build the entire thing to VE standards for flood mitigation instead of AE standards, which is a whole different ballgame, drives our cost way up. We have to do breakaway walls and a lot of other things. So effectively, we can't go this way because of the tree. We can't go this way because of the limb wall line, and we can't go out because we have 7-foot side setbacks. So this is like pretty much the optimal building footprint. This is what we have to work with and up. So something to consider. Every site is unique. This is the uniqueness of this site. This is probably one of the most challenging site orientations I've ever dealt with. Just a lot of things. When you start to move one thing, it affects another. So that's what we're working with here. What we've done is we've marked in blue the entire rear lanai. The second level is built atop of this. And so if we orient to the back edge of the exterior facade, this is the primary suite directly above this. So this is all heated square foot above this. But this is an 8-foot by the width of the entire structure, which is about 46.5 feet. So this will be a nice grand lanai. And then this will be the pool orientation. We'll do the pool in an entirely different video. I think it's too much to talk about all the pool concept and stuff. We're still, we're getting ready to submit the permit for our pool, but the pool will be approximately right here. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Because of this line, not to get too deep into it, can you put pavers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you just can't put the structure.
Okay.
And in fact, the roof eaves can't cross that either. So we had to do something, we had to modify this slope of basically the overhang over our roof eaves. We had to cut it back just slightly.
Okay.
But luckily it's in the rear of the home where it won't really be seen.
Yeah.
So
if you wanted to do an extended pergola grill area in the back, you can't have that as a structural attachment to the house.
Not when we initially build it.
Okay. So afterwards you can possibly add that on.
So in theory, you could do a renovation permit.
Okay.
And I don't know
if they would
the ramifications of that yet because I haven't done it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the simplest thing would be to just simply not have it as an attached structure.
Okay.
And then you don't have to contend with that. Yeah. It's a good question. Okay. So again, pink, open area of the garage, purple, entry area, which is not conditioned to access the inner shell of the home. Green front door, yellow stairs, orange elevator, blue back patio. Good to move on to the second level?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, welcome to the second level of the Davis Islands project, which is also the first level of living space. So we got a lot of colors going on here. We will orient you the best we can. So we have stairs coming up from below, which is in yellow. We also have stairs going up from second to third, which is in yellow. We'll come back to this and talk about it. We've got the elevator in yellow, and then we're going to break down everything else methodically here. So one design feature we wanted to make sure we incorporated was a master suite that's on the same level as all the living space. And so that was a design challenge given the constraints of space that we really had. And so we have a pretty sizable open area, kitchen and living, and then a really good sized master bed that's adjoining to it. Of note here, the reason this wall is thicker is we wanted to dimension for a lot of soundproofing between the spaces. So there's not a lot of acoustic transition from, if somebody's watching TV against this wall, you're gonna hear it a lot in the master. So the best way to do that is to disjoint the interior frame of the wall, which is why this is thicker. So some design things we wanted to incorporate: master on the same level as primary living space. We wanted a standalone dining room. It was really important that we had a flex space that was a study and could also function as a guest bedroom if needed. Obviously, the elevator we had to design around, and then a back balcony that was going to be overlooking the pool with a nice usable living space, outdoor kitchen. I want to talk about a design feature here that we were able to incorporate that we'll come back to. What are your initial thoughts or anything stand out to you, what we were able to do with this level?
Overall, the flow of it is great. I think coming in from the downstairs, you're walking right into the living room. You're also going to have pretty sight lines going out to the balcony, down to the pool.
Let's talk about that really quick. Sorry to interrupt, but the ceiling height on this level is 10'8". So the overall build is 42 feet tall. So code in Tampa on almost all residential projects is 35 feet tall. And so the reason why we're able to go 42 is because of the flood zone.
Yeah.
Your height doesn't start until your DFE. And so we're able to go higher overall because you actually have like an extra 7 feet. It's a little bit short of 42 feet. So this ceiling is 10'8". Would have loved to have been able to do like 12-foot ceilings, but it's just not going to be possible given the total height constraint. And I do not like flat roofs for something like this. It's just not, we didn't want to go that modern. Obviously, you think about a flat roof, there's no pitch leading up to the crown. And so, you have to kind of make that decision early in the design process. If you're going to do a flat roof, you can go higher ceilings because you have no crown. Make sense?
It changes the whole look of the house.
Yeah, for sure. So our pitch on this roof is 412, and we're gonna do a metal roof throughout, but we knew we wanted a pitch roof on the entirety of the project. I think it's just, it just looked way better in my taste. So
Agree.
one thing I wanted to mention, because you talk about this sight line, this is a 10-foot tall by 14-foot wide sliding glass door. And I don't know if you've ever seen in person a 10-foot tall sliding glass door from floor to ceiling. Again, ceiling is 10.8. But it is a statement piece. It is substantial. It brings in a ton of light. It is definitely a luxury amenity to include. And so stuff like that, we want to make sure we invest the extra time and money into planning for.
And that's a pocket door that will go.
So we were planning on doing a pocket door, but we're gonna when we talk about the kitchen, we're gonna come back to this.
Okay.
And why we didn't want to do a pocket door because it interfered with this.
Okay.
This is
so you're exchanging one for...
Yes, this is a custom feature. And when you get into design, site constrained, building footprint plans like this, oftentimes what you'll find is you get into a situation where you have to sacrifice one thing for another. So we could have done a pocket door here, and we still could. There's a few things that we would have sacrificed. One, there would not have been a lintel that would have been able to be long enough to support this, so we would have had to have done a pour-in-place beam, and that drives the cost way up. And so value engineering some of this, like, yes, we are willing to invest extra for the right features, and this is definitely a statement feature, but you don't want to just blow out the budget just because you're not considering some of these things.
How much would something like that cost?
I'd have to talk to Michael about it, but it's like
It's a substantial.
Immediately like 5-figure difference or something like this, just because the labor and then getting the form prepared and everything, and then just the additional legwork that's required in the time. So this was a great. I don't even want to say balance. I don't even think we really sacrificed something.
You're
because
still getting the sight line. You're still getting the view.
Yeah, and so this can be an accordion door if we want to push it all the way to one side and then pivot it. But I think it's a 4-way 14-foot door. You can just have it be to one side or the other. I definitely want to come back and talk about this because this is something cool that we did, and I'm excited to experience it. Okay, what else?
So the next thing, after you walk in, you see the sight lines. I do love the flow of the kitchen dining room. It basically keeps everything on this side of the house, and I think for families, that's easier to maintain, easier when you're entertaining. It's just more livable. The study and master, those are always a great combination because you think you're going to wake up, coffee, go to work. That's typically a livable place.
Yeah.
This whole flow is incredible, especially if you have kids upstairs, you're kind of being left alone. The only thing, I would change this master bedroom situation just to give more of a statement. But again, it's perfect the way that it is. It's standard the way that it is. I think it just can be improved.
Yeah, for more of a luxury feel. Can we come back to this in a
Yeah.
second? I want to talk about the shaded gray area. So this shaded gray area is an area where we have to have reduced size or reduced thickness floor trusses. And the reason why is because directly below is that area, the entry area beneath it. And so because it's elevated compared to the garage, think about this, everything below the rest of it is all garage. So we have plenty of space below that. But this area needs to be supported, and so this has to be 1 foot floor trusses instead of 2 foot floor trusses like everywhere else. So that's why this area is shaded gray. There's nothing special about how it will feel walking from this to this. It's the same plane. So I just wanted to point that out.
No step.
No step. There's no step. So I mean, there could be one, but that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good. It would feel really weird. And so the living room is, it kind of eases into this area a little bit. There's 2 ways to access the dining room. It's one way is if you're wrapping around to go up the stairs to the 3rd level, that's where this starts right here. And so this will all be open to the dining room right here. And then you can also access the dining room through the kitchen. This is the butler's pantry. We're gonna have like some cabinetry, a small coffee bar, small wine bar here, and then a walk-in pantry. For this size house, I wish we could have been able to do a more sizable walk-in pantry, but we were gonna sacrifice some of the amenities. Specifically, we wanted the oversized fridge. So it'd be like very high-end oversized fridge with paneling here. And then we would have sacrificed some of the space we would need for the oversized range. Right now, our plan calls for 2 picture windows on either side of the range, and we may do an infield revision and simply not do those windows so we can get a better cabinet package. But right now, the way we design is we can do those windows on either side of the range. Yeah, you get some natural light coming in, because right now the only light coming in is from this window and this window, as well as from these front windows, which you have these interior partitions that block it.
Yeah, the light would most likely stop around here.
Yeah, this room is going to get a ton of light. So we have 3 windows here and 3 windows here. I think it's going to present for a really nice dining room.
I think you could almost rework this a little bit where you don't do a door, you do an open style pantry, extend the cabinets, and make this more of a working space.
My concern with doing that is my pantry is a train wreck, like on the inside.
Well, you can change.
So like I think of this the way I would live in a home, and so my pantry, it just stuff goes in there, just hey, store it in there, and it doesn't look good. You got a roll that bag of chips with a clip on it, like that doesn't look great. But you could put it in drawers. Yeah,
you can get pretty baskets.
Yeah,
you have an organizing company come in and make it pretty. I think you could really do something pretty. The only other thing I wish was here was I wish this was wet.
There will be
a small sink.
Yes, there will be a small sink right here. Yeah, there will be a small sink, one of those like kind of bar sinks.
Yeah.
Almost just like a foot by a foot. Yeah, and we'll probably do a custom ice machine there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. Dishwasher will be in the island. Large oversized basin sink will also be in the island. Really big island, 4 foot by 9 foot, pretty sizable for the home, and then can seat easily 4 people.
Would it make sense to do 2 dishwashers?
No, not for. I'd say if the house was 8,000 square foot, the interior heated square foot of the house, I believe, I have to look at our latest set. I believe it's about 4,300 heated square foot. So it's not like it's not the biggest house, but 2 dishwashers for this size home, I think is just overkill. I'd rather have space for something else. And
then these are just lower cabinets on this wall.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this, and I want to talk. Yeah, let's come back to this area. Okay. So something that we were able to accommodate. These will be bar sliding glass basically window doors, and so these will be. It's a 6 foot wide and about 6 foot tall door. really it's a window, it's a sliding window, but it's gonna function as a door. If you're looking to take your Tampa Bay real estate investing and development to the next level, and you know that proximity to the right network of professionals is a key step for you doing so, we're gonna put a link in the description below all about the Elite Investor Group. It's how projects just like this come together through collaboration. We can book a call and see if you're the right fit to earn an invitation into the room. We'll see you there. You'll be able to sit at the bar outside. We'll have 3 bar seats, and we'll have a small outdoor kitchen with like a mini fridge and a grill right here. You'll be able to sit at these bar seats. It'll be 3 to 4 seats. And you'll be able to open this window, move it out of the way, and pass food between the house and the outside. Yeah. And so not only does it allow for natural light, but you can have an entertaining event, a party, whatever, and you can have people seated outside eating from the grill or preparing food in the kitchen and then passing it out through this, really through this buffet door.
It's a push-through server.
Yep.
Essentially, it's really cool.
Yeah, and so there's a few different door configurations that we're able to have for this, but that's part of the plan right now. It's easier to plan for a window and then remove it later if like we don't end up doing it. You just have to make sure you get the right lintel. But right now we're definitely planning on doing that. The only thing is you've got to think of cabinet space, and this is why it's a consideration for these windows. We don't have a lot of upper cabinets in the home if we have all these windows. If you have this window set, really there's not going to be any uppers on this wall. It'll just probably be a shelf system right here. And then you'll have uppers here and uppers here, but next to the range, you will have just windows. So it's a consideration.
I'd say as long as all the uppers go to the ceiling and you have maximum storage up there, you'd be fine.
Yeah, it's a consideration.
But this is so cool.
Yeah.
I've seen it where they've done it motorized into the wall.
Yeah. So that is why we were not able to have a pocket door, because the per door size would have pushed this to the west, and then it would have been so cramped to have someone grilling and then have your window be right here. Yeah. So we just decided, hey, just having a cascading glass door that's still a grand statement, and being able to have this is worth the sacrifice. So that's what we oriented there.
Agree.
Okay, so elevator, same door orientation. This is gonna be a 1-door elevator. So all of the exits will be from the south, which is right here.
Will you be able to see any bit of the elevator, or this will be all your standard drywall?
So there will be the door right here, and then this will be drywall over the block. This would be block. Okay. So let's talk about some key features. Oh, by the way, let's come over to the east side of the first floor of living. So we have a half bath. Obviously, that's important. You don't want guests having to use like the master bath. That's not cool. So this is the half bath, and then what we were able to design for these plans is a first floor of living study. And what's cool is we have a secret door. I don't know how much of a secret it is now that we're putting it online, but we have a secret door that's between the primary and the study. It's gonna be kind of a small pass-through door, and the thought there is, one, it's kind of a cool feature. It's like, it's not that hard to execute. It's kind of something unique to incorporate in the design, and it's a way for the owner to just go right into the study if they want. You know, maybe you could have some kind of like emergency plan for your family or something if you need to go from one to the other, but.
It's also a great nursery.
Yeah.
Because if you have a baby, you would have an easy way to get to the baby, number one, and then all of the baby supplies can get plugged into the bathroom, bottles, warmers, all that stuff. So that would actually make a really great nursery long-term too.
As a male bachelor, that never even crossed my mind.
but it is a smart design to have that door for many reasons.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's talk all about the primary now.
Okay.
You good? Okay, this we did a lot of different revisions and iterations on. I'm pretty happy with how it is now. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's absolutely perfect, especially some of the things I think we're gonna dive into, but I wanna kind of go from the main bedroom and talk about the bath and kind of meet in the middle. Okay, so something we really want to make sure is a really good size primary, interior dimensions. And so it's 15'9" by over 18 foot. And that's about the size that actually, what I based it on was the room I live in now, which is like an awesome size. Yeah. And I was like, you have plenty of space. The other thing is plenty of natural light. It's, I I use blackout curtains at home, and it's easier to darken, the windows out with some kind of window treatments than it is to be like, well, I wish we had more natural light. You never want to be trying to seek more natural light. So we have really 3 dimensions of the primary suite that have natural light. We've got the east facade, the south facade, and then we have double French doors going out to the balcony.
Beautiful.
Okay, so that's the primary bedroom itself. Now let's go to the north and work our way back. So we're able to configure a wet room. So this would be an oversized shower and a tub all in the same room. And that will be adjacent to the vanity, a double vanity with a window in the middle to let some natural light through right there. One thing we wanted to make sure we kind of configured the house for was a good lifestyle, right? People want a certain lifestyle when they're really gonna be spending and investing in a project or a home like this. And so having a washer dryer that is in the primary itself is just super convenient.
Yeah.
And then we have another laundry room that's more sizable on the next level. So that was something we were able to accommodate. We have a linen shelf that's kind of back against this door here. We have a cool feature when you enter the primary suite, which is kind of like a trophy case. You could put an art piece here. You could have a small mini fridge. You could even do a wet bar if we wanted to. But I think having that is kind of a nice amenity that people like. And then of course you got to do a secluded off water closet and build like this. Any comments you have on the primary bathroom?
No, I think the washer and dryer is huge. I think it's a necessity because who's going up and downstairs to do the laundry? I think the only thing, are you doing any type of feature in the showers?
Yeah, we'll do it's an option. So we're not going to talk about like the plumbing plan on this episode today, but we'll do, another thing, we'll probably do heated floors. I don't think in Tampa it's often necessary. We get that cold day.
But it's nice.
In February, like, hey, this house
Why
has it.
not?
Yeah. Buy once, cry once. So
it's either going to be that or the garage door.
Can you do both? Yeah, we'll do both. So it'll have a bench, it'll have plenty of nooks, and then it's going to be a statement piece for kind of how we arrange the tap for the plumbing, like for the Roman tub here. Just what finish we choose for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would go from the ceiling down.
I've seen the ceiling ones and I don't love it. I've been in a few luxury homes that have it, and what I would say is when you do that, you turn it on and it splashes everywhere, and you're like, what was the point?
It's a wet room, so it's like it's one thing if it's not in a wet room and there's just water going everywhere, but I mean,
Maybe.
It looks cool.
Maybe we're not at the stage where we need to
Yeah.
decide that right this moment, but it's an option.
Yeah.
Okay. So wet room is about it's about 9 by 6, 9 foot by 6 foot. So pretty good size. I mean, this dimension itself is 6 foot. I'm a little over 6 feet tall. I'm 6'1", so I could like lay down sideways, and that would be, it's a pretty good size. Mm-hmm. So having 2 people be able to take a shower there is no issue. And I think it shows as 1 shower head, but we can easily put another right here. Okay. Let's talk about the closet. The closet is one of those things where if I were to say there's one thing I am not incredibly pleased with on the build right now, it's the closet orientation. I think for this gesture of a home, it's a little bit undersized and a little bit underdone. And so I know we were talking about before we got on camera, what do we think about the closet? Right now, this one's about 6 foot by 10. This one's about 5.5 foot by 10. His and hers, a little bit undersized for this kind of build. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's a little underwhelming. I think any person that's buying a house like this, I'm guessing that they're going to have some type of a shoe problem, some type of a purchasing problem. And I know from my own experience, like it's just underwhelming. I think the house is so grand when you pull up. It's so pretty from every other aspect. It's the only space that I think would need more attention. The biggest thing for me is just there's so many doors and so many entries where I think in my personal way of living in the house, I would nix all these doors and do more of an open concept closet, which maybe that only appeals to 50% of people, and that's a risk that you're going to have to think about. But for me and how I live personally, I would rather cut away these walls, add an island, which would give you more storage, more closet space, less of a his and hers, and more of a flow to the whole.
Yeah, so I think the opposition to that is instead of cutting through a hallway where you can block off the closets, whether this is a swinging door or a pocket door, you are going to be walking through your closet, and there's no way around walking through the closet. I know we talked about maybe putting an island right here. The flow would be to go into or out of your master bedroom is you're going to have to walk around this island. What about this? It's just in real time. What about 2 islands?
100%.
What about like there's no
that.
interior walls. This will be a wall, right? And then there's an island right here. Here, I'm just gonna move these purple things. This would be the edge of the island.
And instead of doing one big one, you just do more of a 6-drawer, like a thinner island.
So what about 2 islands, 2 separate islands that are maybe only 2 foot?
Yeah. I think that would be so much better.
And then you could put stuff on it, and you still retain the hallway feel, but you're not dealing with all of these interior partitions. You can walk around to get to the different parts of your closet.
I think if there is space to do it that way, I would do it that way.
I think there is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take another look. So the good thing is this can be very easily an infield revision. Just make sure before you get to framing, like everyone's on the same page, builder, your framer. So this is very likely something that we tweak as we're working through this. It's not that big of a deal. There's nothing code related to, so long as we have this be the minimum dimension, which we're gonna keep it, bigger than 3 foot. So right now this is substantial. This is 44 feet wide. It's a pretty good width hallway.
I think if you do the 2 islands and then built out closets with closed doors, I think it would look beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And at that point, because you do a pocket door here, or whatever type of door here,
You can. I'm stealing your thunder. Go ahead.
yeah, so you could do something here. You're still walking into a space, and you can make it where it's still his and hers, where you do maybe like a dark wood on his side and a really light glass on hers. Like you can still customize it where it meshes with the bathroom. It's still its own area, but it looks completely custom without being wall, hallway, wall, door.
Yeah.
I think that would look really pretty. And then you could kind of match the cabinets in here.
For sure.
And make this whole little coffee area more a part of the closet.
Yeah.
To better the flow.
Yeah. I want to talk about just the personal dynamics a little bit of like doing something like this. I am someone where I will admit I get decision fatigue. Like I get decision fatigue. So maybe someone's watching this where you want to get into real estate investing or you maybe even want to be a developer. I just want to talk about my personal approach for something like this. It's kind of separate from the actual technical design aspects of this project. I like to look at something, think about it, and take a break from it. Like let me go on a run. Let me just like spend the rest of the day maybe considering it. Let me come back to this next week. I don't have to make this decision today. That's why we're planning so much in advance for stuff like this. This is a very easy change to make. But as someone who's like, gets a lot of decision fatigue and it's like, so many different things going on. And by the way, this is one of 5 projects that we're gonna have in the ground. So like, it's not like this is the only thing that we're doing in our business. Just personally, I like to ideate on it, get some inspiration from a colleague who knows their stuff like you, and then come back to it. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll come back to it. I think that's a great idea. So in summary, what we're looking at is maybe taking out these interior partitions here, keeping these as 2 small islands for his and hers. You don't have the confinement of these interior partitions anymore, so you can walk around, keeping this wall in place, and then putting a pocket door here so the owner can choose to either leave it open or keep it shut. You have privacy here through the main door to come into the primary. And then of course you have your acoustic dampening here between the main living space and really the owner's wing. I consider this kind of like all the owner's wing here.
I think long term, this like calms your idea of living, like I don't want to walk around an island. I think it hits that point, but then it also keeps it very open, which is kind of like I think what a woman would want.
Yeah. And we could even move the islands more inwardly because 44 is a pretty substantial hallway. You don't need to walk, like being able to walk just briefly past 36 I think it's fine.
Yeah.
The other thing too is you're outside, maybe you're doing some work, maybe you come in from, I don't know, I come in from being at a site and I just walked through mud. Like, guess what? I can take the elevator, go straight to the master, go into my closet first, and I don't even have to go into the bedroom yet.
And you'd be able to, any type of stuff that, like, let's say you just take your clothes off and leave it on the floor, it's still behind an island on both sides. You know what I'm saying?
This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
This is
I think,
better.
yeah. I think because you can still hide, you need to throw off your shoes, you throw off your socks. It's still behind an island where you're not walking through this hallway and just seeing mess everywhere.
Yeah.
There's still room to hide a little bit of mess. And then you can either do, depending on how the person lives long term on the design side, you can do shelving here, you could do drawers here, you could do whatever.
You can do both sides.
You could do, yeah.
Yeah, so you get even more storage. Yeah, this is for sure what we need to take a look at. I'm glad we had this. So instead of these smaller 6x10 and 5.5x10 separate closets, what you're really getting is his and hers sides of a closet that's functionally, you got a 15 foot by 10 foot closet for his and hers. I think that's fine.
And I think it looks more grand.
Yeah.
I think on the luxury side, you really want it to pop. And I think for a lot of people, a closet is a selling feature.
For sure. For a house like this, it has
to be.
And right now, I don't think we're there, but we will.
I think this is very cool. And I think it's not done so often. So it is more of like a little flair, a special point in the house.
I will say once we are in the framing stage, something I often do is I'll start to go walk the house and get a sense of how things feel.
Yeah.
I will say when it's in framing and there's not drywall up, your eyes really play tricks on you. Like it feels smaller, it feels large. Things feel different than when they have drywall. But I think on every project that I've really done that has a custom plan for it, I usually change something. I usually end up moving something a little bit just to like make that trade-off of space. For example, we have 18 foot 3 inches here. It wouldn't be crazy to get 6 extra inches of closet, and we don't know that till we go. So have a good relationship with your contractor to make sure they understand like this may be some changes and have that worked out. But that is something we have done. There's another project we're working on together. I'm probably going there later this weekend to take a look at it. So let's talk about the size of the dining room. So the dining room is approximately 12 by 12. I wouldn't have wanted to go much smaller. It's hard to get nice seating in here and you want to be able to entertain guests with the dining room. Something we also didn't talk about is this nook. So this will just be open right here because of how we oriented the stairs. Could be a small library, could be a seating area. This is another thing that I haven't quite come up with the exact concept of how we'll use it, but this would be open area.
I think this is great. I would do a round table in here.
Sure.
I think that's your best use of space. And then over here, I would do another round table with family photos on it and stuff like that. That's how I picture a family using this space.
Yeah.
I think, are you doing any type of built-ins, special feature?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great wall.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, right, how it's oriented now is a little bit thicker than it's actually going to be. You only really need to offset a little bit. So, and this is not a load-bearing wall, so yeah, we're planning to do built-ins. I just need to figure out if we're going to center it. We've got this dimension, but then we've got the gray dimension. So I think what we'll end up doing is centering it between this partition and then the back rear block wall. So the center of that would be about right here.
Yeah, I would center it with the sink.
Which is about, it's about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I think long-term, this would be great to have a sectional here.
Yeah.
Chairs, because you walk in, you can put a console table there, have a nice little separate space. It's a good layout. It's a really good layout.
I also like that when I'm at my house now and I'm on the second level, I lived in a house where this wasn't the case. If someone like pulls up in the driveway, I had to go through someone's bedroom to look and see like what car is here. And so I like this because you don't have to go through this study. If someone's in the dining room, you don't have to disturb them. If a car pulls up and you're looking like who's below or what's out there, you can just go right here and you look through these windows. And this is all part of that really prominent stair tower. So overall, just to summarize, it's about 4,300 heated square foot, over 7,000 gross square foot. We've got 5 dedicated bedrooms, each with its own ensuite, and then a half bath downstairs. So a total of 6 bathrooms, one of which is a half bath. And then the study on the second level is a flex room. So it has a closet and an egress window. So that could be considered a guest room if needed. No shortage of space. So if you get to that point, you got a lot of people that are in the house, but it could be used as a bedroom if needed. So let's go in order. We've got bed 2, 3, 4, and 5, with 5 being a junior master. So let's just walk through each. You want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, I feel like the bedroom in the front, perfect size, perfect little walk-in closet, walk-in shower. I think the layout of all the bedrooms, to me, it feels like a lot, but this is a family house. These people have kids. And I think the whole flow up here, once this change is made, it's just going to be really pretty.
Yeah. So there's about 12 by 12 and a half, and then this will have a low curb shower, walk-in shower here. So we wanted a mix for people who have kids. They obviously like a tub. And so we wanted a mix of bathrooms that had a tub and then ones that had walk-in shower. So this will be the front bedroom. We wanted to feature a nice window that's in a bathroom there. And then we have a picture window above the toilet. I think that's nice.
Very pretty.
You don't want the lighting of a home like this to be an afterthought. So we really were pretty thoughtful about how we were gonna do that. And then, this will be a block structure all the way up. And so you really got to plan in advance where your windows are gonna go. So the layout isn't uncentered to the extent that you can prevent, as well as, you've got key spacing for things like a TV in the middle of these windows. So just natural light throughout was a really big theme we wanted to make sure we incorporated. Okay, so I'll cover bed 3. Entry for bed 3 is going to be right off the coming up the stairs. Good size. It's about 14 by 11 and a half. You've got your ensuite. This one has a bathtub, and the walk-in closet's a bit on the smaller side. I think this is actually the smallest walk-in closet we'll have in the entire home, but it'll still be a nice walk-in closet with ability to have some built-ins. Okay, going to bed 4 in the corner. The way we have this set up right now is that this is kind of like a Jack and Jill bathroom, to where bed 4 has an ensuite with access from the bedroom, but we also have a door from the hallway if guests want to use the bathroom. I will say we are considering adding a half bath somewhere in this area so that guests don't have to use bathroom 4. And if we do that, we will wall this off, get rid of this door, and it'll just be one door that is from the bedroom itself. I will say, in the design considerations for this is inherently the reason why I made this a double sink, because if you consider, hey, the occupant of bedroom 4, it's a kid, and it's a kid in the family, and he's got his toothbrush and all his stuff set up at his sink, but another kid in the family has their friends over and they're up in the den loft. You don't want them probably using the same sink with your toiletries, personal stuff. So that's why we wanted 2 sinks there. I've seen that where a guest bedroom that services many different spaces or guest spaces or other bedrooms. You only have 1 sink. That's not great. So 2 sinks.
If you changed this into a powder, would you remove the double sink or just keep the double sink?
I'd probably keep it a double.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably keep it a double and just get rid of this door because there's no need. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Good size walk-in closet here. We already have the shelving footprint built out there, so that's a good size walk-in closet. And then at the rear of the home, I think this is another this is probably the statement of the 3rd floor. This is actually a junior master. So you figure you have parents come in town, you have a couple that comes to visit. They can kind of have their own retreat, and it's the most isolated from the rest of the house. And so they can get away, have privacy, and have plenty of space to just unwind. So this bedroom is about 15 and a half by 12. And then we have a massive walk-in closet. We're considering reducing the size of this slightly. Again, this will be an infield revision with these partitions. We're not gonna submit another update to the plans through the city for that. And then obviously with a junior a junior primary, you want the double vanity. You got a good size walk-in shower here, and then a walk-in water closet.
Yeah, this is so pretty, especially because these both have backyard views, and I think it's just extra private.
So the house that backs up to this on Davis Islands is actually 1 story. And so this being so high, I mean, you've got to consider, again, we're 42 feet high. This will be about 30 feet in the air. You'll be able to see the water. You'll be able to see the water from these things.
Awesome.
So a couple things that we were kind of challenged with was the door orientation here. You've got a lot of doors. You've got the door entering the bedroom itself. You've got the door entering the walk-in closet. You've got the door entering the bathroom. You've got the door entering the water closet itself. You've got the door entering the shower. A lot of doors. So to reduce kind of the burden on the doors and having swings, hitting different swings, is we decided to make this a pocket door. That way you can just leave it open if desired, and you can have access to the bathroom through that pocket door. The other thing that was kind of challenging and what led to us arriving at this conclusion was at one point we had the bathroom located in a much different area than the walk-in closet, and you don't want those to be super separate. You get out of the shower, you want to go in and change clothes, super easy. You just go across and it's right there.
Yeah.
So, really convenient.
Agree. That's the fastest way to make your partner mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, configuration of windows, plenty of natural light. We really didn't want to skimp on the light where possible. So I'm really excited, especially about how this will be able to view the backyard, be able to look down at the pool.
Yeah, this is going to be insanely lit too, just like the dining room. It's going to make the space look even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it from this, just look at these angles, this amount of light. So you're going to have all of this light coming in, you're going to have this light, which are these windows, you're going to have these windows here. You're gonna have a lot of great light up here. Yeah. So crazy thing is, if I was in the house, I would never be coming up here. I would just, yeah. But it'll be nice. It'd be definitely a nice statement. All right, let's conclude this episode and look at the exterior facades. We've got the one behind us and we've got the one right in front of us, 3D versus 2D. This, we just wanted to show our viewers what the front and back of the house look like, as well as just a 3D concept of how that masses. So there you have it. Not really too much to add on these. Prominent stair tower, a lot of natural light, good spacing, different window orientation, and it's gonna be an exciting project. Okay, so that rounds out the overview of where the plans are now. We're really, really excited about this project. We wanted to show you as we close out on this episode what the front and rear of the home look like, as well as a 3D concept of what the home looks like from the exterior front. Not too much else to cover really from these views, just a lot of natural light, thoughtful use of windows, making the most of the space we have. Really excited about this back balcony. This is gonna be an incredible project. Thanks for joining us.
You got it.
It's awesome. All right, so that's part 3. If you guys have questions or if you have opinions on how this project is going, we want your feedback. We will answer them in future videos. Feel free to drop a comment and we'll look forward to hearing from you.